Whenever the question comes up of, is there something you can kind of do about that? And, it would be otherwise very expensive to do it otherwise. French polishing becomes a real moneymaker to be able to satisfy customers' needs in a fairly shorter period of time.
How deep would you say those scratches are? You got like 15,
They're bad enough to catch my fingernails.
15 thou, something like that.
Yeah, easy. But first we want to get on a good wet base. I didn't sand anything out. I'm not gonna try to level sand anything. I'm not trying to get deep scratches out or fill anything, or I got a cheap guitar that somebody comes in with that's all beat to hell, and I want to be able to get an hour or two on a work order, make a customer happy, give him a nice looking guitar, no matter what the finish is. This is poly that's on here. I just keep going lengthwise until it starts to feel a little sticky. Start with a little bit of oil. Start going with my circular motions. You can see a few spots, I think. Right here for a minute. You can see here, 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 here. White spots, can you see those? Are those visible to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we saw last time. Quick douse of a pen, little stuff like that. I could mix up some color into shellac and brush it on, but it doesn't pay, not in a circumstance like this. So I can quickly hide imperfections from the claw hammer that hit it after somebody forgot an anniversary. Make sure I use oil after the fact. Turn the light back on. And French polish right over those white spots, and they're still gone. The color's fast, nothing changed, nothing lifted. As long as I'm using the right amount of oil as a lubricant. If I want to change the color of the back of this guitar, I could too. Like we were looking at with the sunburst, I would just do the entire back of the guitar. Anywhere that I have, I'm not sure if you can see it. Deep scratch. Can you see that scratch there or no? Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
And where you have a deep scratch, pumice stone. Where I use pumice stone, I'm adding a couple of extra drops of oil because I don't want to get stuck. So couple of drops of oil, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. They come in, and pumice stone will start to fill that crack. Let that dry real quick. Put a stone on there. Very often, I'm shaking pumice stone with one hand while I'm still rubbing with the other. It's just about your comfort level with.
I think you need a pumice sandblaster, like
Probably,
a pumice sandblaster gun.
but that is now filling that scratch. Now I can just continue polishing, and as I level and polish, I'll go back and I'll add a little bit more pumice stone, and that scratch, any of the deeper scratches will disappear.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, the lacquer procedure for this is, you know, sand out,
everything. You have to fill all sorts of crevices.
tape everything off to protect it from the overspray, spray, take all the tape off, sand it out, buff it out. It's a whole rigmarole.
Yeah, and in 30 minutes, I'll be done with this back. It'll be dry to the touch. And I could even at that point, if I wanted to, lay it on the back of the guitar and go about doing my setup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you could let it sit for an hour or two if you really want it to cure. Remember, now here you can really see the vapor trail. That's what a good vapor trail looks like when you're French polishing. Every time you see that little vapor trail, that's a layer of finish that you're adding to the guitar. And that's what you want to see when you're French polishing, that vapor trail. At some point, probably right about now, maybe in about 5 minutes, but I won't even wait that long since this is a crash dummy guitar anyway. At some point, I will switch to my shellac that has Sanderac in it because I want a higher gloss and a harder finish, which that always gives me. And the more I use it in the past several years, I think I probably didn't really discover Sanderac until halfway through my career here. I find, outside of smelling wonderful, that in my polishing process, it really gives me, as I'm polishing, a super nice shine, and the finish is much harder, and it starts to resemble that of an old lacquer. And if you remember lacquer from the 30s, you know, even though today it's mostly, you know, synthetic stuff, even nitrocellulose and from the 50s and the 60s, but lacquer in the 30s, the primary resin in most of those lacquers in the 30s, 20s, and 40s and such was shellac. So it gives you that old lacquered look a lot more convincingly than a lot would think. This was just a quick detour into showing how French polishing, you know, just for the average everyday, get it on the bench, get it done and get it out, can really be a moneymaker for a shop.